Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Overnight Action Report out of Asia. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group. Securities offered by MoneyBlock, here to give you the MarketStream.live update from the overnight action. It has been mixed in the last couple of days. We were closed here in the United States, but the Japanese, Chinese, and Indian stock markets were open. The Japanese Nikkei shares were hit for a second straight day, with the Tuesday overnight action shedding about 1.5%. Now that's on a loss after Monday's 1% decline. So you have basically the Japanese markets under a little bit of pressure. Continue to see the strength in the yen as the catalyst to the downside right now. It gained about 1% over the US dollar. So you're starting to see pressure on exporters. They're taking it on the chin, especially names like Honda and Panasonic. EWJ is trading at $50.72. Over the next 3 days, the options are pricing in the potential for the underlying to be either up or down about 1% or around 59 cents. And for the next 10 days, they have basically about a little over 2% move being priced into EWJ. That's about $1.10. Volatility is really still muted at this point in time in EWJ, but let's see if this currency fluctuation and volatility starts to add some volatility into the equity markets. $50, $49, and $48 are going to be critical levels for the short, mid, and long-term supports for this ETF that tracks Japanese stocks. Now taking a look at China, and we're going to start in Hong Kong and look at the Hang Seng. It did climb about 0.5%. That's in spite of the fact that almost a third of the index of the 50 stocks that are in the Hang Seng were in the red. Energy-related names were the most notable lagger strength. You also saw property names that were on the upside, and we are going to keep an eye on that very closely. CK Properties was the leader of the day, ended up about 2.2%, and you have China Resland and Sino Land finishing higher by about 0.8% and 0.7% respectively. EWH is trading at $20.60. Over the next 3 days, pricing in about a 20-cent range on this $20 ETF, so about 1%, and a 76-cent range over the next 31 days. So you're seeing a pretty sizable 3 to 3.5% move being priced in for EWH. 1990, 2056, and 2051 are short, mid, and long-term support levels that you're going to want to watch in this $20 ETF EWH. Now, taking a look at China's Shanghai Composite, it closed the day down 0.2%, and that was after Monday's action of losing 0.3%. Trading overall, though, was light as far as volume. What we did see, though, is that the crude futures are starting to pressure the markets overall, and they're catalyzing the energy markets there. Crude up 1%. Energy became the best performing sector in the Shanghai Composite. Sinopec was probably the fastest pacing stock, up 2%, while PetroChina did close the session up about 1.1%. There was an interesting Reuters article that came out and says that was explaining how China plans to have a 6.5% GDP growth this year. Interesting read. You can go check it out. Taking a look at FXI that tracks the Chinese Shanghai Index, trading at 36.47 right now. Over the next 3 days, pricing in a 67-cent range, and over the next 10 days, $1 range. So some pretty decent movement, but we're going to watch this very closely. Didn't see much action in the yuan, but we're going to see how that actually plays out, especially now that we're getting to the inauguration of President-elect Trump, and he's now starting to talk more and more about his trade policies, hopefully off of Twitter and actually in something substantive. 30.40, 35.40, 36.26, and 35.53 are going to be levels you're going to want to watch. Finally, India's Sensex posted a loss of basically about 52 points, finishing about 0.2% lower. You saw many of the heavyweights in that index taking it on the chin, and it's kept the Indian Sensex in the red for the beginning of this week. Tata Steel is the most notable one, as well as Tata Motors. both down 0.9% and 0.6%. Those are the most notable laggards of the day. EPI is the Indian ETF trading at $21. Over the next 3 days, pricing in about a 38-cent range, either up or down. And over the next 10 days, a 61-cent range, either up or down. So 21.60 or basically 20.40 is the range that they're looking at for the next 10 days. 2025, 2036, and 2057 are going to be critical levels on short, mid, and long-term support. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, folks, that's it for the overnight action from Asia. Join me at 8:45 Eastern Time. I'm going to be covering everything in Europe. Thanks, and watch all the archives here on MarketStream.live. Take care.